Okay, gentlemen, I'm just going to start the unit number 6. Okay, today our topic is ProQual Level 6 NVQ Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety Practice. So here, the main topic we will discuss today will be Unit 6 of this diploma program. And the name of the unit is Develop and Implement Proactive Monitoring Systems for Health and Safety. As we discussed earlier, that there are two types of monitoring systems there working in the health and safety management system. The first one is proactive or active monitoring system, and the other one is reactive monitoring system. When we are monitoring the system, or when we are using the techniques to monitor the system before any incident, any accident, so it is proactive monitoring. And when we are doing such arrangements after a specific event or some type of accident happened in the workplace, then we call it reactive monitoring. To complete this unit, we have 4 learning outcomes. As usual, the last learning outcome is about the CPD. So we are not discussing in this specific lecture about this one, but we will be focused on the 3 main learning outcomes. And with these 3 learning outcomes, we have 21 assessment criteria to fulfill to complete this unit. The first learning outcome has 8 assessment criteria. The second one has 5 assessment criteria. And the last one, third one, learning outcome has the 8 assessment criteria too. So just starting from the learning outcome 1, here we have 1, be able to devise inspection and monitoring systems for health and safety proactive performance monitoring. So as I have discussed with you, when it comes to proactive monitoring, we have different tools or methods there. With respect to that, we have inspections, we have safety inspections, and other than safety inspections, we have safety surveys, safety sampling, and safety tours with respect to proactive or active monitoring. To fulfill this learning outcome or to complete this learning outcome, we have to complete these 8 assessment criteria. So starting from the first one, it is develop workplace inspection and monitoring systems and procedures to include methodology, frequency, compliance with health and safety regulations, and organizational arrangements. So before going forward, that what specific information is required in this one, now moving to it, we have what you have to explain it in it and what type of evidence you have to produce. So in that regard, you have to explain the workplace inspection systems or monitoring system do you have in your workplace. So you have to first explain the methodology, then frequency, that how usually you are using that systems or how often you are using that systems in number, and then compliance with health and safety regulations, that keeping in mind that whatever the arrangements you have for inspection and other monitoring systems, you should consider that these arrangements should should be compliant with health and safety regulations. Then other organizational requirements, as we discussed earlier, that there are two requirements mainly we have in every section of the management system. The first one is regulatory requirements, regulations, and the other one is organizational requirements. So typically what you have to explain in it is including a workplace inspection as evidence. Then a reflective narrative must be included to demonstrate how the system procedure work. So first of all, as an evidence, we need a workplace inspection here, and well explained workplace inspection, that you should explain that how you are working according to this specific inspection methodology. You have to explain that. In this regard, for evidence, you can provide proactive monitoring procedure, like whatever you are using. You are using the workplace inspection, you are using the safety sampling, you are using the safety tours or safety survey, whatever you have, you can use here for an evidence. But do remember that even the workplace instructions, because the instructions are coming after a specific proactive monitoring system, so even a set of workplace instructions are also appropriate for use as an evidence in this assessment criteria. Is it fine for everyone?
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yeah.
Asad.
Yeah,
In our organization, QIWB,
yeah.
actually we have a system.
Okay.
We don't have a paperwork. When we are making an inspection or any kind of inspection, we don't have a paperwork. Immediately we are using the system. We have online system. It's called it Intellex.
Okay.
All the inspections findings, all the inspection info, observations, whatever, we are uploaded or loaded in the system itself. In this case, but in our HSC plan, it's mentioned there. It's mentioned how often or how frequently you have to make this inspection, and this kind of inspection, and the internal inspection and external inspection as well. In this case, now what kind of evidence from my side you look it for?
Okay, first thing is that where you have instructions, whether it is in the policy, you can use as an evidence. And other than that, Fahad, you can take the screenshots of that management system, the computerized management system do you have, and the screenshots of that of that you can say the portal
of any kind of inspection, example of any kind of inspections.
Yeah, inspection,
any
like
type
you,
of his,
yeah, absolutely. You have a typical inspection there. Just open that in your system and take a screenshot, and just 2 to 3 consecutive screenshots will be quite enough
with
for
a different
me.
Okay, with different inspection, with different type of inspection.
Yeah, Mahmoud, please.
Okay.
Mr. Asad, here they are asking for proactive performance monitoring.
Yeah.
So this proactive, it should be before any inspection, a site activity.
No, brother. Do remember here that it is not before the inspection. Actually, you have 2 type of active monitoring systems there. First one is proactive. In that proactive monitoring, we use safety inspections, we use safety survey, we use safety sampling and safety tours. When it comes to reactive monitoring, then we have investigation, recording and reporting of accident will be reactive monitoring. So it is not asking about the proactive monitoring that before workplace inspection, not. Workplace inspection is included in it. Is it fine, please? Mahmoud?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, teacher, go on.
All right, so in this proactive monitoring,
I think are we going to talk about like audit?
Yeah, we can perform our audits there to to
Audit
maintain the
control?
system. Yeah, internal audits, even external audits, if these so you can use that as a proactive monitoring system.
What about health monitoring also? Yes,
Sorry.
health monitoring.
You are asking about what? Sorry, teacher, I can't hear you properly, please.
I mean, we can use health monitoring also as a proactive.
Yeah,
Monitoring.
the audit will be considered in proactive monitoring.
Yes, yeah, I'm talking about health monitoring also.
Brother, unfortunately, I can't hear you.
Health monitoring. He's asking about
Health
health monitoring.
health monitoring.
Yes.
Brother, do remember in health and safety, whatever the arrangements you have before any incident or any accident will be considered as a proactive monitoring, or you can say a proactive technique.
Okay.
Because do remember in occupational health and safety management system, you have 70% proactive approach and 30% is the reactive approach. Okay, so such arrangements, whatever you are making before any accident, any incident, then that will be considered as a proactive monitoring or proactive measures.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, now in 1.2 we have analyze the competence needs of the people who will carry out the inspection and monitoring in the organization. Okay, Mahmoud, this point is clearly letting you know that the basically the proactive monitoring, the inspection is part of that, or otherwise other methods like safety sampling, safety survey, these are proactive monitoring systems. So here it is asking about that, who is going to perform these methods, like who is going to carry out the inspection, who is going to carry out the safety survey, safety tour, and who is going to perform the safety sampling. So the competence of that individual or typical worker is much important. So in this one, you have to explain that in your organization. It is not the specific one, sorry, generic one. It is specific one to your organization, that you have to explain who are the people who involved in such proactive monitoring systems, conducting the proactive monitoring system. Like if someone is doing the inspection, what is his competence, what he has hold, and what type of experience he has, normally what is his role in the organization, what is his responsibilities, and then what type of value he has in the organization or competence he has in the organization. So you have to explain actually the people who will be involved in these inspections and monitoring systems. So here you have to point out. So for competence of these, you can use the evidence like some type of, you can say, certificates of these people, that they have well knowledge of inspection monitoring, or maybe they have some proactive monitoring procedures, instructions prepared by them. Then you can say the training matrices are showing that these guys are having enough knowledge to carry out or perform an inspection in the workplace. Is it fine? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Asad, yes.
Okay, fine. Now moving to 1.3, we have a plan in conjunction with others, the implementation of appropriate appropriate inspection and monitoring systems in the organization. So, gentlemen, the other thing is, which is really important with regard to this proactive monitoring systems, is that these systems should be appropriate. Like if you are performing or you are carrying out an inspection in the workplace, the inspection should be relevant, appropriate to that specific organization. Like, so appropriate and adequately, that inspection should meet your organization's requirement. So here, what you have to explain here, you explain here that what is the procedure do you have in your organization for carrying out the inspections and monitoring systems, and how you are engaging the other workers with you in carrying out the inspection, in performing safety sampling, in performing the safety tours. So in this regard, after explaining that how you are going to implement them, and also how you are going to involve others, you have to give evidence. The evidence which are accepted in this case will be the training session. Yeah, you have conducted a training session for inspection of the workplace, for safety tour or safety sampling, and TBTs are there. Then safety committee meeting minutes, management review meetings, and emails carrying out or confirming that you have performed some inspections, and before performing that inspection, you have a proper mechanism developed there, that before carrying out the inspection, how you are engaging other people and how you are making this happen, that the inspection is according to your workplace, and we are achieving the results what we want from these inspections. Okay. Do you understand that, all of you?
Yes, Mr. Asad, yes.
Okay. Teacher, are you there? Suraj, Fahad, and other guys also?
Yes, we
Yeah,
got
got it.
Okay, fine. Okay, now we have 1.4. Identify any relevant monitoring equipment that may be required. Okay, now moving forward to this point, that relevant monitoring equipment, do remember, gentlemen, that always it is not enough just to observe the things during our inspection process. Like you are in the workplace, you are just inspecting the workplace, doing the direct observations, or just checking the documentation, or just asking from the worker, is not quite enough. So whenever you have such workplaces where that you have to measure the levels of occupational exposure limits, then you should have some systems placed there, like in the form of noise monitoring, air monitoring, light monitoring, and HVAC monitoring. So you have systems there, just there to keep the things down below its exposure limit values. Okay, so in this regard, first you have to explain that if you are using, with respect to your workplace, whether you are using any equipment for monitoring such occupational exposure limits, then you have to explain, you have to share with me as an evidence some noise monitoring results, that we have these monitoring from a typical equipment, and then if you have air monitoring results, light monitoring, HAV monitoring, heating, air conditioning, and ventilation, like some organization have local exhaust ventilation, etc., for dust purpose. So actually For these purposes, if you are using any equipment, so you have to explain them. And as a result of that, what you can use for evidence, as a result of these equipments, 2, 3, 4 results you have, then that can be used for an evidence. Is it okay? Okay.
What about third-party inspection? Because some of the equipments we are sending for the third-party inspection for the safety, for the calibration example.
Yeah, brother,
For testing and calibration.
I am not typically asking about the examination or testing. That is something different, and it relates to some experienced person, and it is about the third party that you are doing some examinations or calibration, or you can say. But I am just asking about that. You have a dosimeter in your workplace, so you can easily take the values of that. So there is not a thorough examination required. Even if you have different monitors there for measuring the radiation, you have gigameter there, and you have a full day reading of that gigameter, that how much of the radiation exposures are there in the workplace. So that are typically monitoring. So you are not going for the examination and testing of that monitoring equipment.
You mean the record? Okay, you mean the records or the result from that monitoring can be attached in this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you have a dosimeter placed there, and you have different
we
results.
have a noise example. We have a noise meter when we are making the noise inspections. We have a noise meter, and we are inspected from different places.
Yeah,
and
different
we have
places,
records also.
Yeah, different places, and even different times of the day.
Yes.
So it will
Yes.
work. It will be the different results will be there. So you can attach a result such like that will be enough for me.
Okay.
Okay, now in 1.5, it is asking about review health and safety statutory records and records initiated by the organization for proactive performance monitoring. So basically, this is before implementing your process procedure. You have records with you. What I have discussed just before with Mr. Fahad, that you always have some records. You don't go for that thorough examination and testing. You always have some past records with you. On the basis of that, you decide what type of proactive performance monitoring indicator methods you can use, and what are best for your organization. So before selecting these proactive monitoring systems or devices or equipment, what you have to explain here that what record did you review before implementing your process procedure with respect to your organization. And in evidence to that, mostly we have risk assessments, mostly we have safe system of work, mostly we have policy reviews that are confirming that what type of hazards and risks are there, and to keep to constantly checking that the exposure limit values do not go behind the limited values. So for that purpose, you have some specific monitoring equipments placed there. So on the behalf of risk assessment, on the behalf of safe system of work and policy review, you can manage to decide what type of equipment you are using. Is it fine?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Asad.
Yeah, bro. Yes, teacher.
Yeah. This 1.5, what do we provide as evidence?
Brother, you can provide the safe system of work. You can provide the risk assessments and policy reviews, because in that you have a clear you will be clear that what type of specific hazards you have in your organization, and for monitoring of that hazards, to actually monitoring the exposure limit values, what type of equipment you can use. So risk assessments and safe system of work and the policy review will be good for evidence. Is it fine?
Yes, good.
Okay. Okay. Now 1.6 is analyze all internal documentation and records to ensure proactive monitoring is appropriately managed. Now, what it is asking for, it is asking for that you like you have some proactive monitoring systems there in your workplace. So what type of documentation do you have in your organization that is confirming that what proactive monitoring systems you have selected are appropriately managed? So in explanation, you have to explain what documentation is currently in place. And secondly, for evidences, you can use review of previous workplace inspections, previous workplace inspection results, review of previous actions. So on the behalf of that, now you can suggest that what proactive monitoring systems and procedure we have in our organization is appropriate, because before we were lacking such things, and it from where you came to knew that is came to know about that is from the old workplace health and safety inspections. Is it clear?
Again, one more time, please.
Yeah, brother, it is asking about that what type of internal documentation you have in your organization, which is confirming that what proactive monitoring you are using at the moment is appropriately managed. So for this purpose, how you can defend this, like if, for example, I am giving example of myself, okay? So I am working in an organization where now we are performing safety samplings and safety inspections. So someone asked from me that how you are confident that these workplace inspections are, these safety sampling are correct or appropriate now and appropriately managed now. So I will guide them that in the past we have some workplace inspections, we have some workplace inspection results that we were facing this issue, and now we are performing inspections such that we are considering these issues too. So now our inspection process, our monitoring technique is much better than the past one, and now we are more appropriate than before. Is it fine, Mahmoud?
Okay, sir.
Okay. In 1.7, involved managers, employee representative, and employees in health and safety proactive monitoring systems and procedures. So it is typically asking about that how you are including managers, employee representative, and employee in health and safety proactive monitoring systems and procedure. It is always a key point there that you should consider, you should involve the managers, the employee representative, and employees in health and safety management system in every section of that management system. Because without involving them, without you can say without discussing with them, without doing the communication with them, you can't make good decisions. You can't make better procedures, because these are the persons like managers and employee representatives who are mostly implementing these protocols, procedures, or methods, and employees are the direct one who are implementing or doing operation according to that. So here it is asking about that in your organization, how you are involving managers, employee representative, and employees in health and safety proactive monitoring systems and procedure. Like Mr. Jamal is in his organization, so he has to explain that how their management, even you can say if someone is in the manager, he can't explain that we are engaging. Actually, his top management is engaging the involving and engaging the managers, employee representative. So he has to explain that how they are involving the managers, employee representative, and employees in health and safety. So how we can confirm this? It can be confirmed by committee meeting minutes, TBT, training sessions, and joint inspections can confirm this, that they are involving them. Like, for example, if someone from the top management is there, he is performing the inspection, so you can't expect that he is just moving here and there and not involving anyone. So involvement will be like that. He involved the managers with them in the inspection process, asking the things, checking the things, and then giving him a chance to discuss the thing. Just instead of just just posing the thing, just assuming the thing, it will be a better practice if he involved the managers, the employees in it. Okay, is it fine, bro?
Can I share one point? In our organization,
Yeah, sure.
we are conduct many different type of meetings, okay, and which involve it most of the different type of people or different level of people. It's a weekly gate meeting and bi-weekly EHS or HSC coordination meeting, which involve it managers, engineer, supervisors, and worker representative. Can I added that one, I mean bi-weekly HS or HSC coordination meeting as an evidence for this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But do remember, Fahd, in this point, we need some type of evidence, like it is a good evidence, but in this evidence, in this meeting or evidence you will provide, the focus will be on proactive monitoring methods. Okay, bro? Instead of other things, your focus should be on performing or discussing the proactive monitoring systems.
Okay, clear.
Okay. In 1.8, it is asking about maintain appropriate records of health and safety proactive monitoring systems and outcomes. So in first 7 assessment criteria, we have discussed different proactive monitoring systems and their outcomes. So here it is asking about that how we are doing the recording of that proactive monitoring systems and their outcomes. So first of all, you have to explain that in your organization, how you are maintaining the records of these health and safety proactive monitoring systems and their outcomes. Like Fahd told us that they have a system, they have a intranet and computerized system there on which they are putting all the information. So everyone, maybe someone also, other people also have some simple some systems there, and even the manual system is also can be used as a evidence here. It is still okay, because in many companies, in many countries, they are doing the manual record keeping of these things, or just keeping the things on their system through emails or things like that. But here I need explanation and evidence specific to your workplace. So in this regard, what you have to explain, how do you maintain the proactive monitoring systems and outcomes. And in evidence, you can use process review procedures, storage location where you are storing these, and then remedial action log can be used for this purpose. Is it fine with learning outcome 1? May I go forward?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, now we have the learning outcome 2. It is about be able to keep stakeholders informed of health and safety proactive performance monitoring outcome. So it is just discussing about what? It is discussing about that you have proactive monitoring systems with you. You have proactive monitoring methods with you. Okay, you now you know how to develop. After the development, you have implemented them, and once you have implemented them, then you will definitely have outcomes of that system. So in this learning outcome, it is focusing on that whatever the outcomes you are getting from these proactive performance monitoring, you have to share with the stakeholders. So whatever the stakeholders are there in your organization, you have to explain. And normally a stakeholder, and also we called it interested parties. So the main term we use for such people are such type of workers or people present in the organization. We use the word for them is stakeholder, and we can also use the word interested parties. So in this regard, do remember the interested parties is the standard word we use for this purpose, and the stakeholder is the accepted word we use in different cases. So moving forward, in 1.2 we have inform. Here we have 2.1 inform directors, senior line, functional and technical managers, employee representatives and employees of the outcomes of health and safety proactive performance monitoring of the organization. So typically, specifically, it is focusing on that, how you are informing people, how you are communicating with the people with the outcomes of these proactive performance monitoring. So here, what you have to explain here, you have to explain with respect to your organization that how do you inform others of the results of proactive monitoring. So what you have to explain here, you have to explain how do you inform others of the results of proactive monitoring. So as an evidence, you can because it is asking about any stakeholder are interested parties. All of you should know, or all of you knew this, that these are the people who are directly, indirectly can be affected positively or negatively, but can be affected by the operations or functions of the organization. And here we can say that can be affected by any arrangements with relevant to health and safety management system. We will consider them the stakeholders. So as there are many it is a number, it is a good number, that how many people are there, or how many types of people are there. So almost we have different types of communication there, we have a different means of communication there, which can confirm this, that we are doing a good communication with them. So in this regard, committee meetings, I am just letting you know about the evidences which can be accepted here. So committee meetings, TBTs, training sessions, presentation, if they include proactive monitoring statistics, online notification software, monitoring reports with remedial action included. So such type of evidences can be used for this assessment criteria 2.1. Okay, the moving, is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. In 2.2, it is asking about prepare reports of the outcomes of health and safety proactive performance monitoring of the organization. Do remember that if you want to communicate something, or if you want to share the information or discuss something, you should have a proper reporting system there. You should have a proper reports there to communicate it properly. Not just remembering the things and sharing with the stakeholders is not enough, because stakeholders or interested parties can ask from you that how you are saying this, what type of evidence do you have. So actually you need reports, so you should prepare reports for this. So in this regard, with respect to your organization, you have to explain that after you have completed proactive monitoring tasks, do you compile reports to send to managers, heads of departments and supervisor? So you have any system placed in your organization that you are sharing these reports with your manager, supervisor, head of department, etc. So you have to explain here with respect to your organization. When it comes to the potential evidence portion, so you can use the same evidences what we have discussed before. So if what you have monitoring reports with remedial action included, you can share with your managers. You have a presentation showing some graphs, some charts about the outcomes of proactive monitoring, like statistics of that, or workplace inspection report. So these can be used as evidence, and you can share with your manager, supervisor. So you have to explain what type of monitoring you are using in your organization. Mostly it is workplace inspections, but if you are doing some sampling, safety surveys, safety sampling in some cases, or just conducting the safety tours, you can explain all these with respect to your you can say with respect to your organization instead of generic information. So in 2.3 we have interpret to non-specialist audience the outcomes of health and safety proactive performance monitoring of the organization. Here it is typically discussing the things with, it is asking about the non-specialist audience. Here interpret means communicating someone broadly, or you can say just for sake of information, that you are spreading the information, to explaining the information. So it is asking that non-specialist audience, who are they? Mostly the people in the top management are if like someone like the organization is working on some construction work, or working in the civil industry, and the CEO is just can understand the construction work, but he is not the specialist in health and safety. So might be there are others also in the organization who are not specialists, and for that purpose you should have a special arrangements there in your organization to interpret information to them, because they are in the top of the organization, and the satisfaction and should be there for them to take the steps. So for that purpose, you should have devised some systems, some methods there that are confirming that you are interpreting the to non-specialist audience the proper outcome of health and safety proactive performance monitoring of the organization. So what you have to do, you have to explain what you have to explain. Do you hold meetings with managers, head of departments, and supervisors who may not be health and safety experts? How do you communicate information to them? So you have to explain me to such people how you are addressing, how you are communicating in your organization. So what will be the means which can be considered here as an evidence, and you can use as an evidence if you are conducting committee meetings, if you are having presentations, you are having online notification software, monitoring reports with remedial actions included, and emails. Such type of things, with the help of that, you are interpreting or giving information to non-specialist audience. You can use that evidences here. So then we have 2.4, propose recommendations based on the outcomes of the health and safety proactive performance monitoring of the organization. So same is a procedure, because it is saying that you have received outcomes. So outcomes are discussed with many people like stakeholders and everyone. So you can take take recommendations from them, and if their recommendations are quite enough, are quite good enough to include for future proactive monitoring systems or procedures, then should consider them. And for how that outcomes will be added, so there will be a same thing that you can add them through committee meetings, your presentation and everything, and recommendations should be there. So is it fine? Teja, Mahmood, Suraj, Fad,
So you
Yeah,
Jamal.
it's okay.
here, so what type of evidence do we provide
Which one, bro?
for 2.4?
Same committee meetings, because in committee meetings you can discuss that these are the recommendations. Like for example, so simple, teacher. Like for example, I have discussed or communicated to stakeholders, and I have some recommendations from them. So what I will do, I can't, being a health and safety expert or even manager or advisor, I can't put their recommendations individually or independently in the proactive performance monitoring methods, or even I can't deny them. So for this purpose, I will conduct a committee meeting, or otherwise committee meeting is conducted by someone else, and there I will discuss that proposed recommendations, and we will then take decision whether these recommendations can be added or not. So then committee meetings will be an evidence which will show this, that how we are taking the recommendations.
Okay, noted.
Okay, now to 2.5 we have respond to the requirements of the regulatory authorities in respect of the outcomes of health and safety proactive performance monitoring of the organization. So dear, before explaining that what you have to explain and what evidences you use, I just want to explain something to you. Actually, you can say average companies, and you can say below than average companies are mostly implementing health and safety management system in their organization just as a legal requirement. So they are not taking it as a good practice. They are not giving it a top priority. So most of the time, to just keeping that organization on track, there are regulatory authorities everywhere, like in each country, in everywhere, and from where they are coming, they are taking their laws from ILO, from HASFA, and from OSHA, and from international organization, and rectifying them and just using them in their organization. So in this regard, always that regulatory authorities are seeking some outcomes, some reports from that organizations. For this purpose, they have some specific requirements. So being an organization working in that specific territory, you have to respond to the requirements of the regulatory authorities. Like if they need records of your inspection, you have to respond to them. If they are interested in your audit reports, you have to perform that. Even they want to audit you, even you have to respond to them. So do remember that these external regulatory authorities have a great influence of any organization. Even for good standards, good practices, there may be something like, you can say, some leverage there, but in regulatory authority requirements, there is no leverage. For example, I just want to share information with you, like I am performing ISO 45001 audit in an organization, like it is external audit, it is third-party audit. I am performing that. That is an audit for good practices. But when it comes to a regulatory audit, you can't say that we have a standard audit, because you have leverage in standard or laws, but in standard, sorry, but you don't have any leverage in the law, in the regulatory laws or regulatory requirements. So do remember, if you are working according to some specified standards, then it will be an audit, and audit after a year. Then if remedial actions are there, they can only, what they can do, if you are having a CB audit, what we call the external audit, second stage audit, we call it the certification audit also. If a certification body, you are failing a third-party audit, the certification body only will say that we are not certifying you. They will give you some time, or maybe in some cases, they allow you for a probationary period of 6 months. They can give you leverage. But do remember, in regulatory audit, you can't say anything if it is not possible, it is not practicable. You don't ask them for leverage or such thing. Once it's a requirement coming from regulatory authority, you have to fulfill that. So that's why this assessment criteria is added here, that how you are responding to external bodies like regulatory authorities and other, and if they have some issues, so how you are responding to them, how you are reporting to them, how you are giving the outcomes of reporting, and what type of information you are keeping for them. So all these are required from you, and these are the requirement. For this purpose, monitoring reports, enforcement notices, emails, everything will be used as an evidence, and you have to produce in this assessment. Is it fine? Hello, gentlemen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, just going for the last learning outcome. Here we have. So just let me know, are you people are getting me properly or not? Or if you are receiving less information, or if anything is there, even it is recorded lecture, I don't care for it, because if I don't put myself for assessment, then it will not be a good practice at all.
Actually, from my side, I reviewed the records of the lectures every
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Why? Because there is some such valuable informations you are shared to us. But during the first time, it's difficult little bit to catch it in from the first time. For that reason, I'm repeat it. That's
Okay.
mean your explanation is okay for me. I'm talking about myself. Your explanation is okay for me. I don't know about my other colleagues.
Yeah, I will ask from them one by one. Yeah, teacher, please, few words.
Yeah, it's okay for me. Well,
Okay.
many of time I'm jotting down some notes, and also
Okay.
also reviewing when I'm writing.
Okay. Okay,
Also
thank you.
reviewing.
Okay, Mahmoud, please.
No, for me, actually, I'm doing the same. Whatever my brother Fahad is saying, the same I am doing.
Okay.
If something like is a little bit difficult, I'm going back to a lecture on YouTube.
Okay.
So I am listening again for the point that I need.
Okay.
For me, it's
And okay, thank you. And the iPhone man, it is Satish, or who one is there on iPhone? Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please.
Yeah. I'm fine. It's okay, going good.
Okay, thank you. And Niaz,
Yeah, it's okay. Whatever doubt I am having, I'm discussing with my friends, Mr. Suraj and Satish and Mahmood. So it's okay for me till now.
okay, that's fine. And Suraj, please. Are you there, Suraj? I think he is having some issue. Okay, brother. Now moving forward, I just want to assess myself, because we don't have such a proper feedback there. So I just want to discuss with you people, because if it is working for you, then it's great. And if it's not, unfortunately, then I can make some improvement. So no worries at all. Your feedback is important for me. And I always, even on this stage of my life, where I have almost, you can say, 16 years of experience of 16 years, I am just ready to learn. I am just ready to groom myself. So no worries at all. That's why I'm taking such feedback from you people. And thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for your words. So I am giving my 100%, because I am quite satisfied, because I am giving my 100%. What type of experience I am having, other than these qualifications I'm sharing with you, and how I can make your assessment better, and how I can improve your knowledge. So I am trying to give you 100%. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Now moving towards our last learning outcome of this unit. Okay, because I have told you earlier that the fourth one is about the CPD. So we are not discussing or considering CPD right now, because we have a In the last, we have a separate document for this purpose and a separate lecture for this purpose. So the gentleman, the next and last learning outcome is understand how to develop and implement proactive monitoring systems for health and safety. In this learning outcome, in its 8 assessment criteria, you only have to explain your understanding. So we don't need any evidence in response to these 8 assessment criteria. So for this purpose, what you have to do, you have to explain your understanding with respect to your workplace, that how you are considering or you are having a knowledge about these assessment criteria, are the terms, or you can say procedures or methods asked here. So in 3.1 assessment criteria, we have analyze the nature and role of active health and safety monitoring systems within the organization. So here, what you have to do, you have to answer 3 things. So you have to even explain 3 things here with your knowledge, that how you understand that. So for that, first thing you have to explain is what is proactive monitoring. Then what does it aim to achieve? Actually, it is asking about that, what is your understanding that how we are conducting or we are performing proactive monitoring, what we want to achieve from this one. Then we have what benefits can it bring to the organization, and what are your thoughts about this, that if you are performing proactive monitoring, so what will be the benefits for your system? What will be the benefits for your organization? So you have to explain that. Now in 3.2, it is asking about present the rationale for proactive monitoring systems for health and safety. So basically, it is asking for that what rationale, or you can say simply what reasons are there that why you are performing, you are conducting proactive monitoring systems for health and safety. So why do I am just going to say, simplify it for you. It will be, why do we conduct proactive monitoring? Consider moral reasons, legal reasons, and financial reasons. So it is about that. So after that, in assessment criteria 3.3, we have described the whole range of monitoring equipment. So here, what you have to explain, you have to describe with respect to your organization, and even further that what type of monitoring equipment you think that can be usable in a workplace. Okay, so you have to explain that what monitoring equipment can be used to proactive monitor exposure levels. In this one, you are not only limited to your workplace. Even you can explain, like if you are not having dust issues in your organization, but you are still, if you have a knowledge of that, you can still explain that how you can monitor the dust levels, how you can monitor the local exhaust ventilation systems, how you can monitor the radiation in the workplaces. So you have to explain that monitoring equipment actually. Then we have 3.4, explain sampling routines. So I have, if I'm not wrong, in the unit 5, I have discussed about the sampling. So first of all, here, what is sampling? Actually, many times it cannot be possible that you can examine or go through from a whole population of anything. So in that case, you have some sample there, you take some samples there for this purpose, just to check that. And it is another thing that the sample should be relevant, the sample should be random, otherwise that sample will not work at all. So basically just taking a part, just taking a random or you can say a relevant part from the total population and considering that is a sample, and the process is sampling, and from the whole number from where you have taken a sample is called the total population. So it will be the small portion you have taken from that, it is a sample, and where from it taken is a population. So coming back to this, in 3.4, it is asking about explain sampling routines. So you have to explain that in your organization, what are the sampling routines you have, that how you are performing sampling there. For example, you for example, include periodic inspections of high risk workplace hazards. So you have to explain sampling routine, like whatever, wherever you are doing in the workplace or what is possibility of that in your organization, you have to explain here. Is it fine till 3.4?
Yeah, actually, like you saying, like explain. So is there any specific, like how much we have to explain? Any specific number or specific lines, something like that?
Yeah,
The quantity, like
actually,
yeah,
it is Suraj, it is asking about the routines, na? So in routines, you can consider even the frequency of that too. Okay.
No, I am asking. Yeah, I am asking about like all of them. Like if the question is about explain, so how much it required, like the paragraph or how much sentence it should be, something criteria like this, or we can only like say what are required.
No, it is you are asking, you want to say that what type of information you can add here. So actually it will be a paragraph just explaining that. You don't have to give any specific example like you have in your workplace. You only have to explain the sampling routines you have.
Okay. Why I'm asking, because in NEBOSH, if they say like outline, it should contain this much of number of sentences. Or,
yeah. It
like,
will be like
yeah,
it will be like routine. It will be much easier for you when I will, like, you have a inspection routines there in the workplace, like the line manager is doing on daily basis, and the supervisor or immediate manager is doing for weekly, or even a person from middle management is coming there and doing the inspection monthly, and there is 6 monthly and the top management is doing the inspection on annual basis. So you have a routine of safety, workplace safety inspection. So same we can do for sampling too, because sampling is also a proactive monitoring method.
Okay.
Okay. Like periodic, like you can say it is basically asking about sampling routines. It means that periodically, for example, you are in the workplace, you can't take for example, you can't examine there are 1000 fire extinguishers are there, the workplace is too large enough, so you can't examine all, you can't inspect or examine all the fire extinguishers there. So what you will do, you will have a routine there that in the first portion, on first weekend of the month, I will take the sample from first 250 fire extinguisher. Then you will have a plan that in the next 250 fire extinguisher, I will do the random sampling there. I will do sampling there. And then the third, the fourth one, like things like this. This you have to explain here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, now moving forward to 3.5, evaluate the procedures for workplace inspections and activity observations. So here you have to explain what we have to explain, what I have told you earlier. So actually, what you have to explain, you have to explain your workplace and what in your workplace, you have to explain that what are the procedures you are using in your workplace with regard to workplace inspections or monitoring techniques, and what are the positive and negatives of that. Simply what I can you can say, what is the purpose of this assessment criteria? It is asking about that you have a pro or active. Pro or active are same words. So what are the proactive monitoring methods you are using in your workplace, and what are their benefits and what are their demerits? You have to explain that here. Okay, so in 3.6 we have explained the principles of effective written and verbal communication. So you just have to explain here the effective written and verbal communication. It means here I need from you, or the assessment criteria needs from you, is that you have to explain the benefits of written and verbal communication. So principles should be something like that, for example, if you are saying this, that written or verbal communication should be clear, it is just a principle that a communication should be clear. And second thing, the language is acceptable to all. It is a principle that whatever you have in written or verbal communication, it should be acceptable to everyone. So that these are the principles, and you have to write these principles with respect to written and verbal communication. Okay, is it fine? My bros got quite everything fine?
Yes.
Okay, brother. Okay, now moving forward to 3.7, we have explained how to respond to health and safety needs of others. Okay, in this one, you have to explain that in your organization, how you are responding to health and safety needs of others at all levels, like what on which level you are, and how you can respond to others if they need anything from you with respect to health and safety. So how you are guiding them, how you are suggesting them, how you are training them, how you are explaining them, how you are responding to them. It is you have to explain there. Okay, I'm just going to give some example that if there are some intrapersonal skills are you can say considered in this matter, like if someone have a good behavior and he has a good behavior to others, then he can respond more effectively instead of that person who is just responding due to his job. There is two different behavior. So that's why in the organization or even in the culture topic, culture unit, positive health and safety, culture unit are negative. So we have discussed that actually the attitude of person, the behavior of person is more important in responding to the health and safety needs of other. Most of us are from the continents where we are just there to health and safety. We are not near to the behavioral safety. So you can't imagine this, that in the UK, in the USA, in the Australia, in New Zealand, there are more courses than health and safety on safety behavior, or you can say the behavior, the mental health or well-being, you can say they have a good number of courses on this one, because it is absolutely right almost that most of the time that systems are in place, that these are the behaviors which can cause accidents. So they are absolutely right. So they are working there on behavioral safety instead of just health and safety or health and safety management system. Because just you take it like, for example, you have a well occupational health and safety management system placed or implemented in your organization, but the persons, the people present there don't want to perform or don't want to conduct the things safely or perform the things safely, then how the system can work itself? So it is actually the behavior. And most of the time, do remember that in implementing good standards of health and safety management system in an organization, when it comes to its barrier, the behavior is you can say a significant barrier there. So coming back to the topic, you just have to explain that if someone from the organization needs health and safety, so how you are going to respond them. So a lot of things will be considered in this one. So you have to explain according to yourself that how you are helping actually people with regard to health and safety needs. Is it fine for everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are moving towards the last assessment criteria of this unit. We have 3.8, explain external factors influencing active health and safety monitoring system. Bro, you have seen that here we have a word active. So do remember, proactive and active are same word and their reciprocal is reactive. We will discuss in the upcoming lectures or units. So health and safety statutory requirements and industry best practice for proactive monitoring systems and documentation, quality management requirements for documentation. In this one, it is asking about that what factors can affect proactive monitoring system. So here it is asking about the statutory requirement, the industry best practice, you can say the standards, the good practices, and for proactive monitoring system. So with regard to this, you can say that in considering statutory legislation with respect to UK, mostly we have MHSAW, Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulation. We have co-chair control of occupational safety and health hazards. We have lower there lifting operations and lifting equipment regulations. We have for their So client requirement, insurance companies, quality management systems, ISO standards, you can say 45001, the 9001 there. So these are the factors which can externally influence health and safety monitoring systems. So you have to explain that whatever you have seen or whatever the understanding or knowledge do you have, so you have to explain that one. Okay, gentlemen, this is for today that we have completed this 6th unit. I'm just going to stop the recording, then we will discuss more.